Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov gang. Our guests this evening, Josh Brewster, a concerned citizen, Leon Weinstein, the author of Capitalism 101, and back by popular demand, Dwight Schultz, who played Murdock on NBC's The A-Team. Glazov gang members, welcome to the Glazov gang.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Gentlemen, we are in very frightening times, and this show is covered with the dressing of the title, To Release a Blind Sheik, which I think very much symbolizes and represents the dangers that we are in. Let me say this to our viewers, not just for the sake of self-promotion. My new book is out, High Noon for America, The Coming Showdown. Dwight, can you quickly tell the viewers what Ann Coulter says about me?
Jamie Glazov is magnificent.
Thank you, Dwight. Ladies and gentlemen, High Noon for America. If you want to equip yourself with the knowledge and with the information that is needed to protect ourselves and defend our society against jihad, get High Noon for America. It's in the bookstores right now. Gentlemen, is it High Noon for America in terms of what we are seeing now with the jihadists perpetrating violence against us, a filmmaker in trouble, and with our administration and with our government seemingly apologizing and surrendering? Let's start with the concerned citizen, Josh.
That's a concerned citizen. Yes, well, I'm going to tell you, the whole thing with regard to the blind sheik is, this is a series of events that they are hoping, if they can put our feet to the fire right now, it will dovetail into the release of the blind sheik. It comes to a question as to whether something behind the scenes is in the works presently. But all these events lead me to believe that there's something brewing with regard to the blind sheik. But even setting the blind sheik aside, I'm always waiting, Jamie, for the next level of insanity with regard to these jihadists. And the idea that a YouTube video is going to spark this kind of riot, or somebody drawing a cartoon. This is absolute nonsense, and I just want to encourage everyone to draw as many offensive cartoons as they can every single day. Post them to the web. Our freedom of speech, as David was saying on Fox News, it's all we have, Jamie. It's from which all our other freedoms flow. And we're being challenged right now, Jamie. We're being challenged. And people need to apply their liberal values to the Muslim world too. You can't have this exception in your head, well, I don't expect anything out of that side of the world. You have to apply these values to everyone around the world, and we're being challenged.
Leon, what do you think about the Obama administration facilitating the coming to power of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt? Morsi gets into power. The first thing he says is, we want the release of the blind sheik. And instead of an American administration publicly giving the middle finger and announcing that they're not going to release a mass murderer, and who was, of course, responsible for the first World Trade Center bombing in 1993. Instead, they're inviting him to Washington, and it appears behind the scenes, it has not been denied that negotiations are in process.
You see, there's two civilizations. I mean, our civilization and the current Muslim civilization. I don't want even to say Muslim, I say the Arabic countries have totally different values. And the moment that there is a clash of totally different system of values, of everything that we cherish, for example, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, for them it's nothing. We live by, do not do to a neighbor what do you want him to do to you, and they live by Allah said and Mullah said what to do. So the moment that you will start answering to their demand without stating this is how we live and we are not going to sell out our way of life in order to accommodate you, then we will have all these events and all these stories.
Leon, and therefore, instead of Hillary Clinton getting up there and saying, oh, this is a repulsive movie, no, it doesn't matter if the movie is repulsive or not. Obama and Clinton and our leadership should have said and should state right now that it does not matter what this movie is, whether if it's offensive or not. We have a First Amendment in the United States. We believe in free speech. Too bad. Correct? Dwight?
Absolutely. And
Now, of course, you know that when Morsi asked for the demand, the release of the blind sheikh, I mentioned this here. It to me proved that there was an assumption in his mind that he could pressure the United States to do that. Because he's asking for a mass murderer convicted in the United States to be released. And somewhere in the back of his head, he assumed that this would be proper for him and he could be successful. Now, what we're seeing is, I think, and this is an assumption on my part, but I'm looking behind the scenes. I'm going to bring in another story here, which is Huma Abedin. I believe that the policy that has been developed for this administration, and as processed by Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, has been developed by Huma Abedin. She is the one responsible for telling them how to bring in the Muslim Brotherhood, and right now, with what has been brought out by Michelle Bachmann and some other congressmen, they are incredibly afraid of what will happen if there is an investigation into Huma Abedin and her brother and her mother and her father, and everything will fall apart. I mean, everything will. It will be a disaster like nobody can imagine, and I think that's what's going on.
Josh, you did an interview on your radio show the other night with Frank Gaffney, who's written a great pamphlet for the Freedom Center, the Muslim Brotherhood in the Obama administration. Right. Maybe you're the expert on it. What do you want to tell us?
There are a number of figures like Huma Abedin. There are people in the administration who were there, who have Brotherhood ties, who were there for Obama when he delivered the 67, Israel should retreat to the 67 borders speech, right, okay? Right. There's another, and some of these names escape me, forgive me, okay? There's another who uses Gallup poll data to present the happiest face possible on the radical Islamic world, okay? And there's all kinds of people who are way too close to our president because we are too politically correct to examine who the Muslim Brotherhood really is. Yeah. We talk about these distinctions between moderate Muslims, peaceful Muslims, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we never ever want to get into who the Brotherhood is. And when you see these countries fall, Jamie, one after the other, to the Brotherhood, our State Department has a horrible record. It's just a horrible record.
1 second. Dwight, what you're basically saying is Huma Abedin, the people that have been brought in are molding this policy, right? Yes. And also, as we said, Frank Gaffney's pamphlet, you can go to frontpagemag.com. It's called The Muslim Brotherhood in the Obama Administration, and you'll get all the frightening facts there. Leon, your thoughts on how the Muslim Brotherhood has penetrated the Obama administration?
You know, actually, I do not know about this subject.
Okay.
What I know is, for some reason, we are not following our doctrine, American doctrine, of not negotiating with terrorists.
That's right.
Not giving in to terrorist demands, because we know that on top of everything, the moment that we will give in on something, they will demand more, and they will try to steal our citizens, and they will tell us that they will bomb another embassy. If we will not do that, it will not do that.
That's right. Leon's exactly right, because we need a moment of clarity regarding the Brotherhood right now. Forget about the whole rest of the Islamic, the Brotherhood. We need a serious, clear discussion about who the Brotherhood is and what they want. If we don't, we need about 100 more people in our Congress like Peter King, people like this.
Gentlemen,
go ahead,
just
Dwight.
had an American ambassador killed by, I think, al-qaeda, and it had nothing to do with this film. Where is the outrage in the administration? Where is the truth? Where is the strike back?
But listen, when they have been following, look, for 4 years, they have removed all references to Islam, to jihad. I mean, it's an absolute. It's so ridiculous.
It's a message, Dwight. It's a message to their world, to the Islamic world.
But they have been following advice from Umma Abadan and those who are saying the Brotherhood has changed.
Right.
The Brotherhood is not Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. The Brotherhood is a terrorist organization. Prior to the arrival of this administration and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Umma Abadan, and what's happened is suddenly we're beginning to see that, oh, the Brotherhood is being brought over. We're going to push Israel out.
That's right.
Now this has changed everything, and you see this ridiculous conceptual idea that it's this film that's causing the problem, when they've been hiding the fact that it was the demand for the release of the blind sheikh, all at the behest of the one advisor who is intimately connected with the Brotherhood, and that is Umma Abadan.
And it's the contemporary al-Hiss, right?
Exactly.
But we've got a million of them.
And Harry Hopkins.
I want to add something to Dwight's point. And Dwight, I don't know if you would agree, but you see, you talk about, let's call it the most hardcore, clear-cut example. What I'd like to talk about, in addition to that, is all the mainstream softness, the sort of middle-of-the-road softness. My fellow tribesmen, Jewish folks whose organizations are soft about the Brotherhood, mainstream Democrats who are soft about the Brotherhood, mainstream Republicans who are soft about the Brotherhood. And you don't even have to go to the level of Umma Abadan. Right. It's just all this softness, and I'll add this. Even with an al-qaeda influence, even if this thing was concocted, they do riot over cartoons. But they've got the most outrageous cartoons about Jews, about non-Muslims in their papers every single day. They do hit the streets over cartoons, even if there was something behind this. This is crazy. And you know what? I really hope that all artists, cartoonists, I mean this sincerely, Jamie, please, folks, produce more offensive material now. Everybody produce more offensive material.
Because if everybody does
right now.
Yeah, Leon?
Push them. The main thing is energy independence. Period. Sorry, it comes to dollar, cent, and life, but we're there, we're connected, and this administration not allowing us to become independent.
That's true.
Period.
And encouraging other countries to drill right near our shores.
Gentlemen, let me ask you this. We have the jihadists killing an American ambassador, making demands over a film, demanding the release of the blind sheikh, attacking all of our embassies. The Obama administration clearly surrendering in the face of this threat. Where is Romney capitalizing on this and getting up and scoring a huge political point in the campaign for president? Dwight, this is a disaster.
It is a disaster, but I think it stems from this. Look, you have to look back to the previous administration and who was involved in this campaign, who was involved in the last administration, who was responsible for this doctrine that we do not respond. It was Karl Rove. I heard Karl Rove say, we are not going to deal with this president and his political background because we don't want to offend people. And you also heard this phrase, politics ends at the water edge when it comes to international affairs. No one wants, you saw how Romney was savage for coming out and telling the truth about we shouldn't be apologizing. He was savaged by this media that is controlled by the Democratic Party. And so he's got to get over this. He's got to ignore what Karl Rove has said. And he's got to come out and defend that part of the electorate that is going to vote for him and tell the truth. And what Leon said is really, you don't negotiate with terrorists. Where is the American doctrine that we've had for the last 30 years? It's got to be the truth.
Who knows why today the national co-chair of Romney campaign resigned?
Oh, yeah. You
Why?
mean Palenti?
Yeah. What happened?
He wanted to take a job.
No.
Of course. Yes.
What's your theory?
I think that he was the guy that was pushing into non.
I heard him speak.
Resistance, not that.
You're right. He's one of them.
He's like not meat, not fish.
That's right. Listen, I heard him speak.
Yeah.
And he started off by saying, you catch more flies with sugar than vinegar, and we can be friends, and we can talk to everybody. That's Palenti.
Is that how you talk in general, or you're doing an imitation?
Yeah, but that was very good. I like that.
Okay. No, but Leon really has nailed it. You're right. And bringing up this, and that is right. I think Palenti knows what's about to happen. And this redistribution thing, is there anybody shocked that they're
No.
pulling on. I mean, there are so many. He said redistribution. He's complained about Obama has complained about the Constitution not discussing redistribution. This guy is a Marxist socialist. That's what he is, and they're going to move down this road.
Hey, listen,
Josh.
the darkest hour is just before the dawn.
Right.
And when this tape came out about Romney, I digested it for about 5 minutes. I was like, oh boy. Then I said, wait a second. This is a glorious opportunity.
Exactly.
Nothing's bad.
That's
It's about
right.
time
If
somebody
we all
talked
were
about it.
Hey,
Wait a minute.
again.
Let's remember Ronald Reagan, he blurted out the words, welfare queens.
Right.
Do you remember that? Oh, no, Ronald Reagan, he's a racist. He said
That's
welfare queens. This is a perfect moment for Romney because
It is.
87, as I said before we started, 87% of the people
So,
in this
Josh,
country
what is he-
agree about what he describes as the 47%.
So, Josh, what is he doing?
Listen, it's this prepackaged, nicely presented, too trusting in the American people fear.
Right.
And he doesn't want to show his guts. Obama doesn't mince his words. Why is Romney mincing his words? Ronald Reagan got elected by being hardcore and being pissed off, Jamie.
So it's a big
He got
mistake.
elected by being
It's
pissed
wrong.
off.
It's a big mistake by Romney, right?
Oh, it has been up until now. And if he takes advantage of this,
Go ahead, Leon.
It's not too late.
You remember how the first Bush was elected and why? Do you remember the little story about live interview that he got pissed off?
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And because before that, everyone was telling he's a good guy, but he doesn't have guts.
Right.
So, Mr. Romney, if you are listening or looking right now into the YouTube or another tube that we're talking, go and tell whatever's on your mind. Don't worry, we will come and watch.
Gentlemen,
Tell the truth.
Gentlemen, we have to end this first segment, and our second segment's coming up. Let's leave with this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how do you mark Obama conducting foreign policy in the face of the Islamist threat? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you mark Romney's strategy in exploiting its weakness for his strength?
I give Obama
Josh?
a 0 and I give Romney a 4.
Okay, do you have a minus scale?
We have a minus scale.
-4, Obama.
4 minus
And
4.
about 2 to 3 to Romney.
This is horrible for Romney.
I got to beat Leon.
What do you
-5. -5. -5 for Obama, and I'd say a 3 for Romney.
We've come to the end of our first segment. Do you want to do that imitation of Obama? That's
Do the Obama thing.
What were you doing before the show?
Do the Obama, just do it.
What was he doing?
Huh? Huh?
What was the new
What?
picture of Obama?
What?
He's
What?
grabbing
What was the
himself.
new-
What's he's grabbing himself?
I'm
Show
not
us how.
going to do that.
All right, I'll grab myself in the next segment. I'll grab myself in the next
He was being ridiculed
segment. Stay
on
tuned.
Drudge for doing that, and you want me to do that?
Maybe in the next segment.
I don't do
I'll grab
that.
myself.
Join us in the second.
You do that.
join us.
Show
Join us
them.
in the second segment for our final edition of the Glazov Gang.